Hello, I'm doing some, or I'm tackling some criticisms towards ROH because I've seen some videos of people bringing up these piss weak criticisms, and the same people seem to be. These people seem to be all be saying the same thing. So I thought I'd just do a video and talk about it. Um, Actually, I'll start with Rhino Be Good because I saw a video of him. He was ranting. It was this I'm sorry ROH rant, and he had so many things wrong that it wasn't funny. Like, I'll just talk about two main things that he brought up. One of which was the first thing he said. He said that the entrances were a joke, because obviously they didn't have great lighting or whatever. But the thing is, that's not their intention. Wrestling is an art form because it's like figure skating, or it's still a sport, but at the same time it's an art form. And so you really need to look at it like this, the same way you criticize art. Like, what were they trying to achieve, and did they achieve what they were trying to? And they're not trying to do this big flashy entrance because they're trying to the emphasis is actually on the wrestling. So why waste money on flashy entrances and shit like that? It would just be a complete waste of their money, because what they're trying to achieve, they can achieve and save a lot of money. All they're trying to achieve is put on a good wrestling show, not sports entertainment, not a fucking laser show or anything like that. It's just there's no emphasis on it. They don't have, like, it's not a big deal. Nobody cares. The Ring of Honor fans don't care about that. They only care about what happens in the ring. Same with me. Seeing a nice entrance is, it's like, ooh, yeah, whatever. But you can see the same thing over and over. You're going to see the same thing over and over again, and they don't have the money to do it better. So they just, what interests me about Ring of Honor is the wrestling. And the next thing Rhino Be Good said was, he was criticizing the actual wrestling. He's like, oh, they skip a beat, and I don't know what he means by that. He's like, he didn't even know what he meant by that. He was just trying to sound like he knows what he's talking about with wrestling, and he's like, he said they started off boring, and they'd skip a beat and just go fast, or I don't know. But basically, what I'll address in terms of Ring of Honor's wrestling is what it's. There was a shoot interview by Al Snow, and he talks about working a match. And if you actually look at how you work a match, and you look how Ring of Honor's working a match, Ring of Honor is really doing it really well. And the way it works is, you start off slow, because there's only one really big pop in a match, and you've got to get your biggest pop at the end of the match. If you really look at everything in wrestling, there's only really one big pop. Like Tenryu versus Sutsura in 1990, the crowd was nuts the whole way through. The entrances, the different moves, but at the very end, they got really, really loud. And when the finish happened, that's when they got the loudest, and that's what every match should be trying to do, because that way the fans remember the result and who won it, and it takes it's more special because they've become more emotionally invested in it, and Ring of Honor does that does that really well. They get the fans to pop at the very end the most. It's matches are supposed to start off boring, and they're also supposed to tell a story. And that's what they do in a lot of matches. Some of the matches are more spotty, but every time, it's like it goes. The matches slowly just go up, and fast pace. But there will be rest holds, so it would be more like a wave where it goes up and down and up and down. But it's still, at the same time, it's on an upward slope. So at the end, then you got at the very end of the match, when you get the biggest pop, that's the end of the match. And see, the thing with WWE, often you'll hear the biggest pop is when a wrestler comes out, which isn't really the intention of anything. They'll hear the music and all that, and you get this massive pop, and then when the actual match is happening, there's not really that much of a reaction when someone wins a match or anything like that, which is a shame, because what you're trying to do is get the people to pop at the end of the match. It's nice that the fans react when you come out, but when you win a match, when the match finishes, that's when they should either be cheering if the face wins, or booing if the heel wins. That's when they should be the most vocal. Because if the fans aren't loud at the end result of a match, or the loudest if they're not the loudest at the end of a match, or when the match is finished, then you haven't done what you're supposed to do, and that is to get the people to react to the match. Because if they're quiet when the match is finished, it really shows they didn't care who won or lost or anything like that. It's just like, if they're not being vocal, they don't care, and that's what Ring of Honor does. That's the intention. It's supposed to start off boring, and it's like watching a movie or something. The movies often start off pretty boring or slow comparatively to the rest of the movie, and the movie picks up speed, and it's like a wave once again, but it's always going up. And if a movie doesn't get it's all about tension and relief. If at the end of a match or the end of a movie, you just go, that was a shit ending, and you don't care, then the movie's just, what was the point of doing it at all? Why don't you just show the first part of the movie? And that's what Ring of Honor does as a match. They've got the most solid wrestling in terms of how they work a match, and that's what the emphasis is. And that's also why there's not flashy entrances, because you don't want people going ooh ah at the start of the thing, and just at the start of or when people come out, because that would just defeat the purpose. Now the third criticism I want to tackle is, people are saying, oh well, they take 2 or so months in advance to when they're aired. But and it's just so stupid, because if you actually look at when it's taped, when it's aired, when it's released on DVD, when it's taped and when it's aired on pay-per-view, should really not so much when it's released on DVD, but when it's aired on pay-per-view, it should fit in to when you've got the actual DVDs. Like, you'd get the DVDs and you'd watch up to so-and-so a point, you'd see the DVD, and then you'd keep watching. And that's the point. That's why it's not released on DVD at the same time, because it'll take about a month or so, a bit longer to actually, when they film an event, to release it on DVD. And so when you're doing it on pay-per-view, it's like, it's a part of this progressing storyline of the DVDs. So they put it on pay-per-view once they think everyone's seen the DVD, so it's a chronological. It still fits in the chronological order. That's why they don't do it live, because if they were to do it live, some of the DVDs that or some of the previous events which add to the stories which are in the pay-per-view wouldn't make sense, or they just think, well, what? Or people watching the pay-per-view live or whatever would just, because they haven't seen the DVDs yet, wouldn't understand. They wouldn't know what's going on. And like, there might be a couple DVDs where you have the Steen and Generico versus Briscoe's storyline. There's something being added to that. And I mean, the thing with Ring of Honor is they don't make it so you have to see the DVDs, but it would help. But if you were to give away the result of the feud on a pay-per-view before that people have seen what's in what they could potentially see in the middle, then it's a waste. That's why they're filmed and then they're played later on. I'd hope eventually they'd put on live pay-per-views, but with the DVDs and the method of them getting to people, it's a bit hard, because it just wouldn't make as much sense. Like, people might not know two people are feuding or something because they haven't seen the DVD or the more recent DVDs. So you have to do that, or they have to do the pre-taped pay-per-view. And plus, it really helps with business, because it means it's a considerably cheaper. It's only a fraction of the price to pre-record it and then play it, and it's pretty much live to tape anyway. I mean, they do edit some things out. I believe with their Respect Its Own was the most edited, and as they're going on, it's becoming less edited up. They just, the pay-per-views are staying as more of a structured thing now. And, it's working because they don't have the money. Well, they do have the money to go live, but it's a lot more. It would be cheaper it's cheaper for them to pre-record it and then play. It's also cheaper for the fans because they won't have to pay as much for it. If you can make it cheaper for the fans, then more people will buy it, more people will be exposed to it, and more people will get the DVDs. Anyway, that's all I have time for right now. I will probably make a video in a couple days.